Okay, welcome to SpeakEasy Online. It's 2 years since we started doing these meetings online, and it's well done. You guys are here on the second anniversary, so give yourselves a round of applause. I'm sorry I wasn't able to arrange cake to be sent out to everybody.
Yeah, I've got a celebratory Guinness though.
Oh, well, that's the next best thing. Oh, brilliant.
Cheers.
We'll get something sorted for you, Craig. We'll get you a drink sent out. Cool. Well, the only real notice to mention is that the poetry symposium is happening at Telly House on Saturday, and there's the workshop in the morning, which is 11 till 12:30. And
And enjoy. Yeah.
well, Andy's asked me to film some little bits of the symposium proper, which takes place from 1 till through to about 3:30. So there may be little extracts appearing over the next few weeks as well. So there'll be the option to catch up on what we hope is a good day. And then on Sunday there's a meeting at the Kirkgate, isn't there, Roz, about the Cockermouth Live?
Yeah, there is. I did email them and said I was going, but there's no way. I'm actually in Bracknell, so there's no way I'm going to get back
Oh no.
on Sunday for that. So I was thinking of sending an email asking if anybody else wanted to go, but I've asked them to book us for a open mic session at some point. But I'll do that. And if you want notices, I also need the Dorothy thing. Is still looking for readers, so if anybody wants to volunteer to read something by Wordsworth or Dorothy Wordsworth in this 24-hour readathon or whatever it is, they've just taken place in July. Just drop me an email.
So yeah, that's
my notice is done for you now.
Oh,
I'm
thank
turning
you,
into you, Phil. I'm sorry.
So yeah, well, I'll try and get through to the Kirkgate for that meeting on the Sunday, see what they're planning.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could. I'll drop them an email and tell them that you'll probably come.
I was on the Cumbria Arts and Culture Network Zoom last Friday morning, and I think is it Bob Pritchard and Chris
Yeah.
Bridgman from the Kirkgate were on the call talking about
Oh, were they? Okay.
the festival and this meeting coming up to sort of get some ideas together for the event that happens. Is it the first, second,
and
third of July?
Yeah, I think so, that weekend. But
And they said, "Oh, we've
yeah,
had
no,
successful stuff with poets in the past, and we like to know if you're up for doing some more stuff." And he was like, "I'm looking at you, Phil," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna send them an email."
yeah, no, I'm delighted that you're thinking of going because I just can't get there. So
That's all right. We'll see what's cooking and let everyone know.
yeah,
And yeah, so they're also doing this event. It was the Eden Poets involved, and it's about Dorothy Wordsworth and William Wordsworth, and they're reading their diary extracts over a 24-hour period from is it the
yeah,
2nd into the 3rd of July?
yes, yeah. I had email from Susan. She's volunteered and she's put forward a whole group of 4 for one of the groups. Her and Jean Hill and Jean Hill's husband and somebody else. So they're going to fill one of the slots. And then Malcolm volunteered.
Oh,
So
wow.
we've got me, Val and Malcolm so far for the second 4, but I haven't heard from anybody else yet.
Are we trying to avoid the 3 a.m. slot?
I said we don't want that. And I did have an email from her today saying they're thinking of changing the times because nobody wants that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I can give it some more thought as well, and we can discuss it at the Poets Out Loud.
Well, I booked 2 sessions because I thought I'm about to get one other person I can actually talk into doing it. So.
Cool. Okay. See, this is live networking and planning before your very eyes and ears. So yeah. Yeah, as I say, there's been a few apologies for this evening, but a lot of people I think are distracted by the sunny weather, I think. And it has been a nice day here. You've all had a nice day? Yeah? Yeah. So. All right. Well, there's been a few political pieces the last few weeks, obviously, with what's Russia's invasion of Ukraine has provoked a lot of feeling and response. And this is a piece I wrote 2 weeks ago, actually, and it was only 2 weeks into the war, and it's called "For King Putin." You have to be careful how you say that. It goes like this: There's a madman in the Kremlin, and the whole world's a trembling. Nobody knows just how you will react, twisting, turning, manipulating every fact. This is no mercy mission, no act of liberation. It's an invasion of a sovereign free nation. Belarus's eager dictator joins in a Faustian pact. War games are a cover, preparations for an attack. The world watches with nervous, disbelieving eyes. NATO resists patrolling deadly war-zone skies. Threat of World War III if the West gets drawn in is the gamble of this new Tsar for King Putin. Glowing screens tell news of bombardments, airstrikes and tanks rolling. Civilians spend sleepless nights in shelters, doom-scrolling. Ukrainian heroes fight the overwhelming terror. Is the whole bloody mess a tactical error? Retaliation through economic sanctions and asset freeze. Life's about to get tough. It's not just Russia that'll be brought to its knees. Over 2 million now christened refugee. How about a pause in the fighting and allow them to flee? Mercy isn't always an act of the weak. European neighbours grant sanctuary that displaced survivors now seek. Their homes, apartments, supermarkets, schools and hospitals are shelled. No medicine, no food, no water, no power. People besieged as cities encircled. Finland and Sweden consider closer defensive ties. Moscow's talk of military reprisals made to NATO allies, while seizing nuclear power plants with excessive force and reserving the right to launch nukes as a matter of course. President Zelensky stays to lead from inside Kyiv. He argues for support for allies to join the fight and rejects offers to leave. How many soldiers and civilians have to die in the killing? It seems nothing is acceptable but complete victory for King Putin. There you are. Thank you. It just makes me so angry, you know, and everybody's so enraged by what's going on. Awful. Have you got something to lift our spirits, Roz?
Well, I have. I've also got something, not yet on Ukraine, but more trying to fathom out how you get your head around it. I've lost my flipping word page. So, oops. I'll start with that. Get all the, or I can do something silly, but I'll keep that for the end. We might need it by there. Yeah, this is something I wrote a couple of weeks ago. I've just been through it now and changed a couple of things. It's just trying to think about how it would actually feel to be in Ukraine. Anyway, I know how it feels when we had a power cut. We stuck it for 2 days before heading to the Premier Inn to redress our deprivation by experiencing the sheer pleasure of a hot shower, the unbelievable joy of a hot cup of coffee on hot food on a cold winter's day. To have on the long dark evenings the wonders of electric lighting and watch TV, listen to radio, be connected. We literally recharged our batteries. But what if there is no hot water, no warmth, no food anywhere, not only for days, but for weeks? No way to redress your deprivation. It simply continues. This is the reality of millions of Ukrainians right now. It's so hard to relate to this circumstance, its awfulness. As I watch events unfold on TV, I see Russian soldiers approaching with columns of tanks, hear the sirens ring out while deadly fireworks explode in the night sky. I can acknowledge that buildings are being bombed, reduced to rubble and burning, while Ukrainians are living in basements. I can admire those brave, everyday people who find themselves with guns, see the power in their motivation as war rips through their country. But when I try to imagine how they feel, I cannot come close. Their reality lies beyond my understanding. Maybe I lack empathy or the imagination, or perhaps my mind simply rejects the experience, keeping it at arm's length, a safe distance, because I don't ever want to find out how it really feels to be at war. And that was that.
Wow, that's a great piece, Roz. You've captured a lot of how I think most people feel about it. Yeah. Wow. It is that. Yeah, we can't comprehend it, can we? Oh, goodness. Good evening, George. Hello.
Good evening. Great to see everyone.
You all right?
I decided I'd rather be with good friends than with the international writers at Moniac Moor.
Oh, well, we're honoured. Are you okay to read something after Jeanette? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That would be wonderful. Fantastic.
Well, and a quick congratulations to Jeanette. I don't know if anybody noticed that she's got a poem up in Visual First this month.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thanks for letting me know as well. I didn't know it was on. Made my morning.
Cool. You'll have to tell us about that in a minute.
Do you know, maybe I'll look it up for my next read. I'll change over.
Fantastic. Okay, Craig, what have you got for us?
I wrote this one a few months ago when I was feeling quite angry, and it was quite topical then, but now it doesn't seem so topical, and there's been loads of poems like this already, and I'm a bit late to the party, to excuse the pun, but we'll read it out anyway, because if I don't read it now, I'll probably never get to read it, so now's as good a time as any. But it's called 50 Ways to Leave. In handcuffs, in stitches, with Savile Row, or is that Savile Row breeches? Laughing at our expense, deep wounds inflicted, with a half-assed apology and a tail between its legs. Big dog, lame and barking, to the stench of rotten eggs. In a straitjacket, in a hearse, in a coffin or something worse, with a suitcase full of booze, whilst toasting the royal widow on a virtual pleasure cruise, and watching the plebs drowning far below Downing Street. By way of resignation letter, that's surely an outcome better than a vote of no confidence, or sitting on the fence with splinters in your arse. This really is a farce, admitting you're a serial liar, a political career criminal with your pants on fire. Morally bankrupt, some might say corrupt, bereft of integrity, but here's the nitty-gritty. There are enough ways to leave already. You don't need 50, just take one and go. Clinging on by your fingernails, oh no, drag kicking and screaming, whilst would-be successors are plotting and scheming, with your head held high on a pikestaff, whilst NHS staff and carers whoop and clap, after begging for forgiveness from those who will have the last laugh. Switch off the power to your life support machine, an act of kindness, surely. Oh, what must it mean for 150,000 bereaved families to dance on your grave come the hour? And that's that one.
Wow, well done, Craig.
Did you manage to hear it all right, or did it break up?
It broke up a little bit, but we heard everything. It was just so yeah, that worked much better. So that's the trick. George's trick of turning off the video and using the audio seems to be the way forward. So thank you for that, George.
It narrows the band, as I understand it, it narrows the bandwidth for it.
So there's less digital information going along, so it's a stronger signal. Yeah, well remembered. Cool. Thank you, Craig. Jeanette, what have you got for us?
Right. I've got to say, George has got an absolutely beautiful poem, and well, a good few poems on visual verse as well, but I really, really enjoyed reading yours that's up there at the moment, and I hope you will be reading it. So that's I don't know if you can see too well on the app, but that's the picture prompt. Oh, it's too bright, isn't it? You see that? Yeah. Anyway, it's by Susan Fenimore Cooper, and that is the name of my poem. If you try to search for her, you'll find reference to her father, for she was the daughter of a writer. Caught in a wilderness where she knew her place, she walked a land humbly, grateful of its grace. With detailed observation, she upheld moral obligation, traversing with piety for a sustainable society. In rural hours of natural history, published with a pen of mystery, a hummingbird sang by a lady. If you search Little Father, you'll find reference to her father, for he was the father of a writer, the father of a daughter with a name. And that is that. It's just the book was actually, it's called Rural Hours, and it's by a lady. She didn't have a name on there because I think it was because I thought if she had a lady's name on there, it probably wouldn't be as popular. Is that right, George?
I'm not dead sure, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things where we hear more and more of how a woman's part in various things has been suppressed. Like the lady actually discovered DNA, get ignored by Crick and was it Crick and you know what I mean?
Yeah, Watson and Crick.
She died before she got any recognition. I mean, it's
yeah, Rosalind. See, forget a second name.
Name's gone.
Yeah,
and also not Linda Lovelace. Sorry, I think that's a different name altogether. But Frida Lovelace is it that actually invented a lot of the stuff, not invented, discovered a lot of the things for space, or sorry, for internet. And the lady that did all the calculations for the moon landings that was just ignored.
it was Rosalind Franklin who worked on DNA. A round of applause for you, Jeanette.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. All right. George.
Right, thanks, Phil. I wasn't actually going to read this one, Jeanette, but actually it's quite appropriate because it wasn't visual verse. But I don't know whether, I'll just say beforehand, actually, although it's about the hummingbirds, I was actually thinking of the war in Ukraine when I wrote it. Humming. Emerging from the night, heart racing like the beat of wings trapped in this shell of fears I hover. Flowers open to the light, how I fly into the dawn, seeking dew and sweet sun like mother's kisses. Caressing here and there, a feather's gentleness fills the air with song, awakens dreams. Spring beckons me, nectar on my tongue. I greet today knowing night must come. But in that dark cage, I will remember now how freedom tastes, how high the sky.
Fantastic, George. Thank you very much.
Can I also just mention in Craig's thing that there's an anthology out at the moment, which is free for download as far as I know, called A Fish Rots from the Head. which is 82 poems about Boris Johnson and Partygate. Well, Partygate and many other things.
Good. We'll keep an eye out for that. I just got a message from Hazel saying they're hoping to join in as well, so hopefully they'll materialize in a moment. Yeah, as I say, Mark sent a message to say his apologies for not being able to make it, but he sent a link to one of his songs, so we'll give this a go. We can do the old screen share. He sent a piece called "The Right Day," which is, he said it was ironic because Wednesday wasn't the right day for him this week.
Tired, it has grown old, maybe caught a chill in the early morning shiver. The frost that scratched my ankles earlier, the burr of breath in the air before me. Once we sat under the hawthorn, listening to a melancholy blackbird declare its garden. Once we rested on the heel of the fell, skinny and self-absorbed before the maiden moor. It seemed all the earth was gathering itself around our birth. The Indian summer wind teasing apples from the branches. Me sniffing the collar of that pink cotton dress, the one with the little mirrors sewed into the hem. Jojoba and chamomile. It was the right day to be there. 34 long summers gone.
Griffiths, everybody. And that's in his book Grid, which is available from disreputable bookshops and Coldu Press and the like. So yeah. Hello, Hazel and another Mark. Hello, how are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm so sorry we're so late. I couldn't find the link and my computer's on a complete go slow. It's been dreadful.
Oh,
so I'm really sorry. We're so terribly, terribly late.
That's all right. I thought you'd be up the hills, up the fells.
Well, we've been in the woods all afternoon, so.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've all had a go. Do you want to read something?
Okay.
Yeah.
Read. Shall I go for? I'll read something that I wrote this morning. Bear with me. I've just bought Mary Oliver's book, which is called 1,000 Mornings. So this is called Borrowing Mary Oliver's Wisdom. I borrowed Mary Oliver's wisdom, slipped it on like a fairy cloak, shook its shimmering folds around me. I stepped into sunrise, and the woodpecker's crack sounded the start of 1,000 blessings, 1,000 meditations, 1,000 breaths. There you go.
Beautiful. That was really lovely. Thank you very much. And Mark, do you have something for us?
Yes, I do. So yeah, we've started to get the spring migrants coming through, and it was on Monday. I heard my first chiff chaff. And I wrote this quite a while ago, but it just reminded me. It's called Thumb Size. Spring migrants bursting with song, eager to breed. First arrival, tiny chiff chaff, flying 8,000 miles from Africa, crossing the Sahara, the Alps, evading predators, no bigger than the size of your thumb. Thank you.
On mute now.
That was lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, good. It's all right if you turn up late and read lovely stuff like that. That's quite acceptable. Yeah, good to see you guys. Cool. All right. Well, we finished one circuit round. We've only got a couple of minutes left, so if I push the magic button, if we all sign back in again, and we'll pick up again. Does that sound okay? Okay. So see you in a second.
Val just messaged me and said she'd got in, but she was tired and hungry, but she might join us later.
Oh, well, yeah. We're picking up more people as we go along.
We are tonight, aren't we? Yeah.
That's all right. I thought they were being a bit ambitious with that project to do a 24-hour live stream reading of.
Well, I did
Elizabeth's
as well. I
diary.
thought they must think maybe they like read at 3 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't know. Whose idea it was even, I've no idea because I've not actually seen anybody because I didn't go in for a week myself and then I've come away. So who knows what's going on?
If they did it through Zoom, they could get someone in a different time zone to read it, and then
Well,
that wouldn't be an
that's
issue.
true. Yeah.
Unless there's anyone who's sort of.
Volunteer to go somewhere warm and I can different time. Yeah.
I was thinking Liz could do it if she's in Colorado. Remember Liz? You used to come along, yeah. She was in Cockmouth for a while.
I don't know. Probably recognise her. No, I can't. Message her, see if she wants to.
Well, yeah. She has quite an important job because she works in nuclear power stations, so she might be a bit busy, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll let her off.
We can ask her if it's a Sunday. She might be okay to do it. So, what was happening down in the woods today?
Because I work for the Wellbeing Service, and we've got the Woodland Wellbeing going out at Watch Tree. So yeah, the first one last week we did a group of trainee GPs, which was great fun, and it was our first of 6 with the patient group this afternoon. So, and we had a beautiful day for it. So yes, it was really nice being out in the woods.
Cool. That's great. Hello, Val. You all right?
Yes, thank you.
I was going to say, did you want to read something? Because everybody else has had a go, and we've sort of just about finished a round. But are you just listening this evening?
I haven't really got anything other than what I read at Poets on last time. So.
That was good. It was good though.
Well, I can read one of them if you want, but I'm quite happy to just listen.
Well, if do you want to read one and then you can listen for the rest of it?
Yeah, I think that'll probably be all right. Yeah.
Cool.
Right, shall I read the one about I did for the International Women's Day then?
Yes, that was good. That one.
Right. So one I wrote for International Women's Day, but it's just a bit tongue-in-cheek, really. It's called Women's Day. If there's a woman not equal to a man, I've not met her. Because most women think that we're not equal, we're better. Men think they're better because they are strong. But most women think they've got that all wrong. All throughout history, when times have got rough, it's always been proved it's the women that are tough. While men flex their muscles and spoil for a fight, women stay at home and keep everything right. When men come home triumphant and claim that they won, we don't remind them who got their jobs done. So shout up for women, even if just for today, and the rest of the year we'll let men have their way. Not moved tonight.
That was lovely, Val. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was good. It's good, that one. Cool. All right. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I did some workshops with my friend Chuck Whitehead with Reforesting Scotland, and a couple of people were there. Hazel was there, and Josephine Dickinson was there, and we had a good old group of people, and we came up with a few words between us, and then we came up with some poems based around those words. And this is one I came up with. It's called Freedom. Venturing out into nature's forgiving realm, we regain our freedom. In sensing a reconnection with a world sometimes lost or forgotten. There are no screens here, no looming deadlines, only nourishing fresh air. Bracken and heather brushes by, friendly fronds waving us on our journey. Wandering between forgiving spires of the forest, an energy returns to us. My mind clears and my soul is recharged fully. Nature nourishes us. Nature teaches us. Nature is precious to us. Nature provides us with a space to escape, at least for a brief time. There you are. Thank you very much. And Chuck's done a great job of compiling all the poems together that everybody wrote into a nice little collection. And yeah, it's some really good stuff from everybody. And it was only, just off the spur of the moment, for that hour. Really good. If we're doing another one, I'll let you all know. Okay, Roz, do you have another one for us?
There you go. This is just one of those things I just read the other day. I called it The Hill of a Lifetime. I'll put my glasses on as well. There you go. It's a long way up. Starting out is easy enough. Walking on a wide pavement through the town, past the houses with their manicured gardens, then through a 5-bar gate onto a well-maintained path through the wood where dog walkers and children abound, before it slopes gently upward and follows a beck that goes running and laughing on its way downhill, even while you're struggling upward on a steepening path that gets narrower and rockier until you reach the small stone bridge where you pass through the kissing gate before the trees give way to reveal a sheep-cropped grassy landscape where the hill suddenly looms in front of you, appearing almost perpendicular, and you are climbing a mountain. You must put one foot in front of the other and continue your slow ascent. Never look at what lies ahead. Just admire the view behind and consider only what has already been achieved. Keep moving. The height is not impossible. The reward of the top tremendous when eventually you arrive and stand on that rocky outcrop on the edge of everything and gaze out above the town, over the lakes, across the hills, to the vast expanse of the sky that seems to go on forever. And it feels as if you're looking into all eternity. The downhill is easy, a simple step, no time at all to wave at the startled birds and admire the view before you pass through a cloud of ridges, then hover, just above the ground. Then, Oblivion. And that was the end of that. And now I've lost you all. I've lost my Zoom page. Oh my God, there's Phil's head in the corner of the thing. Oh dear.
You'll have minimized us. You'll have to push an arrow or something to make us
I have to
all...
find something, yeah. Oh, I can't even mute myself because I don't know where the button is. Oh, good heavens.
I can mute you if you like. But that was really lovely, Ros. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Okay. Craig.
This one's called The Elephant Has Left the Room. It's not about Boris Johnson at all. So it's not about anybody or anything in particular, but it's just something that I wrote. The elephant has left the room, packed its trunk and buggered off. There was no circus, no leaving do, no farewell kiss or wave adieu, no welcome party waiting for it in whatever space it would crash for the night or splash for the night after a hose down or some other hullabaloo. The elephant has left the room. There remains a faint aroma, a stain or two, an outline made where the sun failed to fade that elephant-shaped bit of the wall behind it. Here there is no heart love sick, just a swinging brick. The birds in cages have long since flown, having never sung in ages. The elephant has left the room. It matters not which of us it was that saw it first or fed it daily. It took the thing that was between us away, the thing we dared not mention, in case it grabbed all the attention and let all that was good slip through our fingers. A haunting melancholy, a discordant chord that persistently lingers. That's it, thank you.
I really like that, Craig. That was great. That was, yeah, a very clever piece. I like that a lot. Took the thing that was between us away. That's funny. Clever. Cool. All right.
Thank
Ginetto.
you.
Ginetto, what have you got for us?
It's a 53-word story because it was one I did for Press 53, and it's called Learning to Measure. We fought as sisters do. She refereed as mothers do. We squabbled over fairness, and Mum was always fair. She saved her last coins and walked to the baker's on Fridays. We'd run home from school to one large sticky bun, ready to half. Her words still remain. One cuts, the other chooses. Thank you.
Those 53-word stories are really wonderful. They're an art form, aren't they? Really, and you conjure such a lot in very few words. That's great. Really wonderful.
Thank you.
I think the Scottish Book Trust, I think, still do a 50-word prompt each month.
Yeah, I've had a go over a couple of. I think it's a blackbird as a theme this time, isn't it? I think it is.
It's a long time since I've looked at it, but I just remembered that there was something I looked at a while back, because they're very interesting, these little flash fiction things.
Yeah, I just think if I have a go at these little prompts every now and again, I'm doing something.
Well, we look forward to the next one. Thank you very much. Okay. George, do you have another for us?
Thanks, Phil. Yeah. Strangely enough, it's what's I think in everybody's mind at the moment, and it has been in some of the poetry we've already done. Russia invades the Ukraine. That day, God became atheist. He sat by the mirror, looked at the old grey face, the lines, the worry, and thought, I no longer believe in you. Oh God, I no longer believe in God. Oh God, I no longer believe in myself. The day God became an atheist, he shut the door, went out into the wilderness and wandered for 40 days and 40 nights. No one came and told him to come home. No one said, this is the coming. No one said, this is the resurrection. God wandered on, realized he was lost.
Wow, George, that's a very powerful piece. Yeah. Amazing. Well done. That's great. It reminds me, I think it was that David Baddiel was telling the joke. It's about the Holocaust, wasn't it? And there's the Jew who survives the Holocaust, and he's trying to get into heaven, and they say God wants to talk to you first before you're allowed in, and God wants to hear a joke, and he says this joke about the Holocaust, and God says, that's not very funny. And he says, well, I suppose you had to be there. That's powerful, isn't it? He tells it much better than I do, but yeah, it's an amazing, yeah.
But it's the sadness, as some other people have been pointing out. This has been happening in Yemen. I can even say it, the Yemen. And, it's not that long since same things were happening in Chechnya and various other places. And it's just as it gradually gets closer, we become, well, and larger as well, I suppose. But we tend to think of peace as being the norm. And in fact, I can't remember, it's something they said, there's never been a day's peace in the world in the last 100 years or something.
Yeah, that's probably right. So, a sad indictment of humankind, really. Oh, goodness. Right. Thank you for sharing, George. Really good. Hazel, have you got something to follow that?
I tend to feel a little bit like the person doing their homework on the bus there, because I was tinkering with one that I actually started writing after the last Speakeasy, but it's not quite finished, so I think I'll give that one a miss. But I will be I was at the poetry group that Susan and oh god, I can't remember her surname now, the Wordsworth Trust outreach officer does a poetry group that is at Maze, and I think the idea for the nonette came from Susan Cartwright Smith, I think, and the idea is that it's like 9 syllables, 8 syllables on the next line, then 7, then 6, down to 1, and you can do the mirror by then going back up. So this one was trying to write in that form, and it's called Cloning Newton's Apple Tree. In 1962, they cloned Newton's apple tree, the first one having fallen foul of storms. This week, that clone fell, and so did diplomacy, as Putin sent his troops and tanks in to kill. If we are lucky, good will prevail, though we must just trust that balance is as true as Newton's formula for gravity, E equals mc squared against Vlad's tanks, troops, and missiles. And you don't quite get the, I don't know, can you see that? I actually had to count my syllables for myself, but quite interesting to play that, definitely.
Yeah, that's a really effective poetry form, and they, when you read it there, there's a lot of emphasis in the words, and yeah, that's a really strong piece as well. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Okay, are you going now?
Yeah. I think you'll get the gist of this. It's called Sandstone. Low tide, ripples of time, footprint, paw print, bird claw, northerly, wind-blown sand, backfills, fresh prints, washed smooth by the tides of time, future, sandstone mystery. Thank you.
That was lovely. Yeah. That's great. That's so visual. That's a great piece.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yeah, I've tried to do what Janetto has been doing with the 53 word short story, and I can't close it down because you just get on a conveyor and you literally can't slow it up. It's very, very difficult. I'll keep trying, but yeah, I like that piece. It was brilliant. Thank you.
That's cool.
It was great, wasn't it? Let me I'll mute us now.
No, I think Jeanette will probably be trying the syllables of 9 to 1 and back again syllables approach next. I think probably itching to have a go at that. Yep. Okay.
Unmute myself, yes. Definitely.
Cool. And it's Susan Allen who runs the Wordsworth Trust group, isn't it? The poetry group, because I think they do stuff at, is it All Hallows? Do they do things there? Kevin O'Connor's often telling me about the group, and I think they've been meeting at Oldale recently as well.
Yes, they have it at the moment for a particular reason, apart from the fact very nice coffee.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, lovely gallery spot.
Yeah, it's nice there. I've been there once. It's sort of hidden away, but it's a wonderful hall with as you say, lots of art and a cafe that sounds like it's getting some good ratings on TripAdvisor there. Cool. All right, back to me. I think I got another one. Another poem from this Reforesting Scotland workshop. And this is Escape. It goes like this. A rat-a-tat-tat of a woodpecker's drill reverberates around the great cathedral of the woods we view with awe. A sense of wonder fills our mind as we recall tales of woodland spirits and folklore. Will felled trees provide escape for wicked phantoms, or shall happiness prevail? In the ever-changing seasons, with the soothed touch of spring and summer sunshine, and the golden tints of autumn leaves, nature performs a show just for us. Will we cancel this long-running show? I hope disaster can be averted. And there you are. Thank you very much. That's that one. Fingers crossed. I think the understandably with what's going on in the news, I think the environment seems to have taken a back seat again, hasn't it? And all these people jetting around the world going, we can't get our oil from where we usually get it from, so have you got any at a discounted rate? And it's like, no, just don't use it. What all the COP meetings are all about. Never mind.
Yeah, and it's amazing how we've got no money to do anything, but suddenly everybody's finding money to create weapons.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Oh well.
I was going to say that at least the wind turbines don't, you know, they're still going, aren't they? Can we not use them?
Yeah, we should be able to. Yeah. Okay, Roz, do you have another one for us?
Yep, and I'm gonna go back to my study cell. Serious stuff is getting too much for me. Poor old brain. Oh, there you go. I wrote this. I should be a grandma by now. I should be a grandma by now, but my girls don't seem to know how to settle and have a baby. They just laugh and say, maybe not. They wish me luck with my aim and treat it like it was a game. Like, oh, but they best get a shift on quick. I'm going to be too old and sick. As I'm getting on, don't they know? I'll not live to see the child grow. And waiting until I'm of no use is tantamount to age abuse. And when you'd think it was easy enough for one of them to get up stuff, and that's the end of that.
That's a subtle hint there, Roz.
Yeah, well, not so subtle possibly, but who knows?
Oh, goodness me. Thank you very much. Craig, do you have another for us?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I wrote a poem called On the Eve, which I read at Poets Out Loud. Quite a long poem, so I won't read it again. But this is like a follow-on poem to that. This is called On the Eve of His Funeral, and you've got to imagine me as a lady. So I'll try and do some feeble attempt at a lady's accent or lady's voice, but it's from the part of the wife. On the eve of his funeral. It's quite ironic, really. He used to go on and on about that big flaming red Brexit bus with all of them numbers on. What them lying buggers said we'd save to spend on NHS. Then along comes COVID. You can't get an appointment. Your ops are cancelled. It's such a bloody mess. Oh, sorry, Mum, I'm going to have to go. That'll be Vicar come early, I bet. Hello, Vicar, come on in. You'll have to excuse the state it's in. I've not had a chance to tidy yet. I decided to drop kids off at his mum's before I went to see Undertaker Jim, but it'll all be sorted for coming back to tomorrow after we've said our goodbye to him. My mum's coming round later to help. He'll get a better send-off than he really deserves. She's going to splash the cash in M&S. We're even having hors d'oeuvres. He'll be back to food bank next week. Me, I'm doing okay. Doc's loaded me up with tablets for my nerves. I'm sorry if I look aside. I'm coping all right, considering. And I'm hoping after tomorrow night that I'll come out of it a bit better than I am today, and better than how I've been. Oh, it'd really been hell to live with for some of the lockdown time. And when I got depression and struggled to cope, he turned to petty crime. I turned a blind eye and it got us by until he started back on drink. He went berserk when news of the parties broke, and although he'd never used his fists, I dodged everything by the kitchen sink. And one time a saucepan connected and I ended up in A&E. And I'd had to tell lies to protect him because I knew that he still loved me. And as long as he did still love me, I'd try my very best to love him. And I still do, despite what he's done. It's funny, it's recorded as a COVID death because it had a positive one. A test, I mean, 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before he jumped, pissed as a fart in front of that bus, the stupid bloody lump. A big red double-decker bus. You couldn't make it up. You could not make it up. That poor lady driving it. I took her some flowers, hoping to bring her some cheer. Fat chance he's ruined her life and all. She was totally bereft. I told her, oh no, it wasn't your fault, my dear, and showed her the note that he'd left. I think that only made things worse. And it has made things worse, I think. She won't be there tomorrow. Bless her. That's that one, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. That's a very strong piece as well. Yeah.
I got on a train going to my work in Greenock one morning. I mean, many years ago, 50 or more than that. And two ladies got on and sat down behind. The one said, he hit her with a pot last night. And the reply was, at least she knows he still loves her.
Wow. Goodness. Who's next? Janetto, have you got... Are you able to follow any of this?
No,
No.
no, that had heart-stopping moments, Craig, didn't it? It was excellent. Okay. It's just a little bit of fresh fiction. I think it's 100 and, I don't know, it's about 97 words, this one. It's called In Search of Solitude, and it was prompted by, I don't know if any of you went to the New Light exhibition at Tully House. Try and put it. It's called Fun, and it was by Alan Stones, and can you see the guy going down the pier?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sunlight illuminated his platinum halo whilst the breeze teased his coat-tail. His shopping bag was swung, holding all he needed. Oh, sorry, his shopping bag swung, holding all he needed. The taunting had ceased. The gulls had flown after, clearing the leftovers of yesterday. There was just him and the soft spring of his footsteps on silvered boards to accompany the flapping of bunting. This was his time, his moment to exhale the past and inhale escape. To his childhood place, his space at the end of the pier. Lifting his chin, he closed his eyes to the sun and the waves stilled.
That was great. Very evocative of that. Like you could almost hear the seagulls and the all the stuff of the pier, all the fun of the fair and all the fun of the pier, and yeah.
I missed out a bag of chips though, didn't I? It maybe needs a few more words.
Those are the other three words, yeah.
Yeah, a bag of chips.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. George, what have you got?
I was trying to find if I had something cheery to read, but I don't at the moment. But then I very rarely write anything cheery, so it's hardly surprising. But this is going from the international to the personal. Poetic tracery. White trellis on her tan skin as she stretches a lazy arm against sunlight dappled by the holly, a summer afternoon of wine and cheese. Three set friends supporting in their work, sharing patterns made and lines inspired. Now the day goes on in languid chat, her hand caresses her chilled Pinot Noir. Sparrows haunt the feeder on the lawn. A robin runs the patch in his red rage, while slow cured pork sizzles in the grill. Overhead, a jet to Alicante trails the cloud. That trace of perfect cuts jars me aware. How delicate and true is every line. There would be bloodied fruits as on a vine, precision marking off her hidden thoughts. I wonder, did she lick to taste the pain? as she adjusts her blouse to screen my gaze.
Wow, George, there was a lot of intricate, clever wordplay in that as well. Yeah, like that a lot.
It was one of those shocking things when I thought I knew someone quite well until her sleeve rose up on a summer's day, and I suddenly noticed all the cuts and realised that the only way they could be done was by self-harming. And what that meant, you know, I never said anything, obviously, but it was such an eye-opener to how you never really know what's inside someone, do you?
Very true. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Powerful piece. Hazel, do you have another piece for us?
Probably a bit of a rough draft, but so this was because our last Zoom speakeasy was when we had Storm Dudley. Was it last? Anyway, so I called this one Words in the Wind. Poets assembling in the Zoom room to speak their easy words, sharing lyric lines and rhymes while Storm Dudley howls through power lines, blasts drafts down chimneys and through window cracks. Poets share power lines of their own. That was it.
Very good. Very, very good. Cool. Thank you very much. Mark, do you have another piece for us?
Yeah, I have. It's a very short piece, and probably the explanation about it is going to be longer than the actual poem itself. There's a place just outside of Kirkcudbright on the coast, on the Scottish side, right opposite where we are, and there are a small group of islands called Fleet Islands, and visited the place during the lockdowns. And one of the islands you can actually walk over to, which I've never done yet, but at a certain point in the calendar, there are two tides that come round and form right in front of you as the sun starts to set. So that was the inspiration behind this. And it's called Kissing Tide. Past, washed away by the tides of time. Connection to a loving soul. Newness of newness is breathtaking, entwined as a kissing tide. Thank you.
A good photograph as well, isn't there?
There is a good photograph, yeah. And there was, just quickly, there was a professional photographer who had all the gadgets and that. He was trying his best to get this shot. And we were sat in the van just watching this guy. And right in the middle of his viewfinder, there was a fella who was picking crabs and mussels and that with a fluorescent jacket on. And he just couldn't get round this fella in the shot. So he was quite annoyed at the time, wasn't he?
Happy.
But we got some nice photographs of it, yeah.
Wow. I've seen the tide change on the Solway, the sort of Bruff by Sands side, and it's an amazing thing just to see that and then hear this rush of water. Amazing. I think we're about to run out of time, so I'll push the magic button. We'll all sign in and we'll do one more quick round. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Cool.
Phil, I've just realised I think I better duck out and go into that meeting that I was supposed to be attending with a different friend. I was just going to ask quickly, the thing on Saturday, is it for the symposium?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Does it just turn up in the afternoon?
It's free from 1 o'clock till about 3:30, 4 o'clock when the museum closes at 4, I think. So yeah.
I'll maybe see if I take a mad notion. I might actually just jump in the car and come down Finola and I were talking about coming, but all sorts of other things have intervened. But anyway, that was great. Thanks very much, guys. Sorry to duck away, but I better put in a sort of token appearance at the other event. I really enjoyed that. Thanks, everyone.
That's okay.
Bye.
And George, good luck with your launch next week.
See you, George.
Oh, thanks. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
George. Well, he might turn up on Saturday, depending on what happens. So, yeah.
Oh, we hope. It'd be nice to have met him, but hopefully I'll get to the next one.
Next time. Yeah, George sends his apologies there, but he thought he better go and put in an appearance at that other meeting in case they're all singing his praises and he hasn't turned up.
Right.
Fair enough.
Very showbiz.
Very sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll do one more quick go around the group and before drawing things to a close. But it's been really good tonight. And yeah, I was going to say it's 2 years since we ended up going online to Zoom because of the pandemic, and I thought this gives me an excuse to do this piece, Lockdown Town, which my collection is available from the likes of me.
Oh wow!
And I realised I had a year's worth of angry poems about the lockdown, so it became its own thing. So this will be probably on the book table if Andy allows me to put it on the book table for the Poetry Symposium on Saturday.
Good.
Right.
I think I might have pre-ordered a copy anyway, have I
Yes,
not?
there's a copy with your name on it. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, I'll do the title piece, which is in the style of John Cooper Clarke. I attempt to do a very poor impression. Here we go. Lockdown Town. Spending all our time staying in the house, ordering food, shopping with the click of a mouse, wailing sirens, a haunting sound. We're living in Lockdown Town. Lockdown Town, Lockdown Town. Don't look now, we're in Lockdown Town. If you go out, you need to wear a mask. Is keeping 2 meters too much to ask? There's an horrible bug going around. You better watch out, we're in Lockdown Town. Lockdown Town, Lockdown Town. Don't look now, we're in Lockdown Town. There's no laughter, there's no play. All our kids are locked away. Turn those smiles upside down. Don't look now, we're in Lockdown Town. Yeah, Lockdown Town, Lockdown Town. Don't look now, we're in Lockdown Town. Some say it's fake news, say some it's lies. When they catch COVID, they're in for a nasty surprise. As realization dawns in their eyes, and they frown. We're in Lockdown Town. Lockdown Town, Lockdown Town. Don't look now, we're in Lockdown Town. Roll out the vaccination right across every nation. Essential workers make us proud. We'll sit tight in Lockdown Town. Lockdown Town, Lockdown Town. There'll come a day when we can all leave Lockdown Town. We'll remember those lost and those who survived. Things will be different in all of our lives. Maybe some solace at last will be found when we no longer live in Lockdown Town. There you go. That's from the 26th of January last year, so Lockdown Town. Thank you.
That was the delivery was fabulous as well. I think that was great. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right then. Roz, do you have another one for us?
Yeah. I only got this something I just started writing this morning, but I don't really think it's finished. But I don't know if it's ever going to get, because Lindsay's off work and I'm sat here. We've both been sat watching daytime telly, so I've kind of come up with something. So anyway, I'll put the glasses on. Daytime telly is such a peculiar thing, filled with bizarre programs. I find myself watching people being judged and people judging, encouraged by production teams who are manipulating those to be judged worthy of our support. When it comes to the scoring, and engage us in things that otherwise are boring, then by making the participants look inferior, they create scenarios to make the audience feel superior and somehow convince the lost that their lives are full, when in fact their existence must be extremely dull. And that's as far as I went with that. I'm sure I can maybe either put it in the bin or do something better with it.
There's quite a lot of accurate observations in there, Roz, I think. You're on mute there, Roz. What are you saying? You're going to sign up for all of daytime television?
Oh, yeah, I think I shall watch it all the time. It's just really bizarre. I can't really get why a lot of it. There doesn't seem to be any reason at all.
The commissioning process is a mystery. Thank you anyway. Well, we hope for another episode next time. Okay, Craig, have you got something for us?
Yeah, this one's very much work in progress. I've called it Nuclear Family for now, but that'll probably change as well. The TV splutters sporadically between waves of white noise. Ashen faces seek cracks of brightness in the soiled blanket of sky, where the sun might break through to punctuate the bleakness. The spit of his dad, courage oozes from every pore. A mother's sigh, except this one knows what he's fighting for. Family, home, homeland. Young cubs line up against the great red bear, whilst the eyes of the world look on and stare. Mother's milk, a petrol bomb, the steel caress of a warm grenade, a resting place where the air fills with birdsong, and a sky clear of bombs. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Again, that's very moving, that piece. Thank you very much. Janetto, do you have another one for us?
Yeah, just short and sweet. I've been having a look through my COVID poems, and there's one here. It's a syncane, so that's 24682 with the syllables, and it's called Sounds I Miss. And I think you'll learn a lot about me from this. Bird song, a lulling train, and cobblestone footsteps to the pull of a pint in the King's Head. Thank you.
You're right. I think when we went into lockdown, it was strange, the sort of things that weren't there or weren't accessible to people anymore, and what we all missed. It was very weird, but you summed that up really lovely. Yeah, like just footsteps out in the street, and yeah, a pint.
Yeah, and I love a train trip, even if it's just between Wickham and Carlisle. I just love getting on a train. Yeah.
I remember.
All taken for granted.
Yeah. And you think that's just an ordinary thing, but when it's taken away from you, it's yeah, you really miss these things. I remember Tony Hendry was one of the first people who went back to the pub, and he was telling us all about it on one of these Zoom calls. Do you remember? And it was like, "Oh, tell us, wise explorer, what was it like?" And he went, "Oh, I had to go in and I had to give my details, and I went to the bar, and then I had to keep away from me, and then they gave me a pint, and it was really weird, but it was good to have a pint again." And it was like, wow, Tony's been brave and gone to the pub. It's like that.
Yes.
Hazel, do you have another one for us?
In some ways, going to be a bit cheeky. You'll have heard this before, but it was a long time ago, because it was the not the one you referenced, but the workshop that you did with Chuck after the COP26. So another quite short, and it was called then COP26 today. I really probably ought to COP26 then yesterday. Anyway, our fragile earth today filled with disappointment at our ineffectual attempts to support and stimulate rejuvenation. Quiet desperation before the juggernaut of continuing destruction, deforestation, devastation. Consumerism tough to reverse, though we can commit to fighting our corner, to ongoing activism, bringing love and light to these dark days of disconnect. And that was it.
I know. I think, were you the first person to read when we were reading our stuff back? And I was sort of thinking, oh, look, I've got about 6 or 7 lines. I'm quite pleased with that. And you read this wonderful, fully formed piece, and we were all like, the bar's been raised very high. Lovely piece.
Thank you.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah. We feel your pain.
Yeah. Oh dear.
What have you got for us, Mark?
This is, it's quite reflective, and this short poem, and it's prompted me to read it after being at the Woodland Wellbeing through Watch Tree today, and which is absolutely amazing. We've got a great location, and fantastic volunteers who've set it all up.
And a great fire starter.
yeah, that's my role. Yeah. And 18 months, 2 years ago, I moved out of the family home. Anyway, that's another story. But one of the places I always went to is a small wood. And this was I wrote this the last time that I was there, and it's called Cuckoo Spit. Fallen tree trunks lay bleached on the woodland floor, entangled with knotted briars and brambles. Carpets of wild flowers sway in the breeze. Tall grasses peppered with cuckoo spit. Lichen-covered stumps upholstered in green velvet baize. This wood has served me well, calming me from the inside. Thank you, my local patch. Thank you.
That was really lovely, man. That was great. Yeah, such a lovely description of the mosses and the green velvet bases. That's yeah, lovely. More than hold your own in that household. Excellent. Yeah, Watch Tree's a good place to hang out as well. Jean Hill did a writing workshop there as part of the Mind Trees project a few years ago, and yeah, it was a good afternoon. And yeah, just stepping out in amongst the woodland, it just changes your perspective on things immediately, and you start thinking about things like slightly differently from a writing point of view. So yeah, that's good. Were you on the bikes, going around at 1,000,000 miles an hour on the bikes?
Not this time, although one of the volunteers in the project, one of our patients has slight mobility issues, so they borrowed one of the twos up ones so that she could do the bulk of the work and get there, and she thought we might need to take turns because it might be really hard work, and they got there in no time at all. It's like wisdom ahead. But yeah, it was fun. We'll maybe have a go on the bikes, all of us. I think roughly number 5, I think, of the sessions we'll all load up on bikes and go around. So it's really good fun.
Cool. Oh well, enjoy, and I'm sure you'll have glorious weather every time.
No, but
Fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And I think that brings us to the end. So well, thank you all for joining in. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause, everyone who read, and everyone who listened, and everyone who left before the end, and everyone who stayed. And yeah, just thank you for sharing such brilliant words. And it's been great. So hopefully we'll see you on Saturday at the Poetry Symposium, but don't worry if you can't make it. And then there'll be an in-person speakeasy at the Source Collective next week, next Wednesday. So yeah, and Poets Out Loud, second Wednesday of April.
It's the 13th this time.
Ah.
Just wanted to say something. Today I saw a red kite, which I was quite staggered. Just went over our heads when we went for a walk this afternoon in a park, and my daughter told me that apparently there's a lot of them around here. But I just looked up and there's a massive big bird, and I said I didn't know what it was, but she said it was a red kite. So just thought, because you're talking about birds lots, that you might like to know that, because it was quite exciting.
Whereabouts are you, Roz?
Bracknell Forest.
Bracknell, right.
The area is called. There's some Lily Hill Park or something we went for a walk around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think they've had quite a successful breeding program, the red kites, haven't they? They've been weren't they
I
extinct?
guess they
and
have.
Reintroduced them, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but it was quite magnificent.
Wow. Cool.
I just thought I'd say that, whether you wanted to know or not.
Yeah, that was a lovely contribution. Yeah. If Peter Rafferty was here, he'd last time Mark and Peter, you were sort of having a sort of passing the baton about curlews and
That's right.
all sorts of RSPB stuff going on. It was good. Yeah. I'll let them know. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining in. Stay safe, and we'll see you again sometime soon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Phil.
you.
You're very welcome.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Well done,
Everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Phil. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Cheers, Phil.
It's been a great night. And sorry we were late.
It's all right. You more than made up for it.